Hey, welcome to Cox Family Travels. Today we are doing the July 2018 monthly budget for you so that you know how much it costs us, a family of 5, to travel full-time in our RV.
We have a Class C RV. So when we talk about the cost, we're going to talk about the gas cost for both vehicles because we also have a Nissan Rogue. We don't tow it yet, so we are paying for gas, so that's an additional cost. We don't talk about our car payment because we figure that can be so variable.
Different situations.
Yeah, but we try to focus on the expenses we actually incur that we feel like would be a common expense. Like we don't do charity. We don't talk about that because we know not everybody does that. So
and we don't have an RV payment, so of course that's not included in there. So it's just costs that you would likely see.
Right.
Eating, fuel, the rent, as we call it, to pay for the lot, the sites that you're at.
Yeah, so remember to add in your cost or your perceived cost, like if you would need to finance your RV. So.
Or if you like to eat better foods.
Right, yeah.
Okay, so let's get going, as Brian Fellow would say.
Okay. So our camping fees for the month of July were $874.45. So that was a little bit more expensive than last month. We did stay in more state parks that were maybe more desirable. It's a little bit more expensive if you're in a more popular area. I think is what we found in Florida, at least.
Right.
It's not like just one price for all the state parks.
Right. And some of the county parks that we had stayed at before were less expensive. So, for example, there's a park in Volusia County, Florida, that's only $15 a night. But in the state parks in Florida that we stayed close to the beach, they were not $15 a night.
Right, yeah.
So that kind of changes it up.
Right, yeah. And then we also stayed one night in like a travel park on the way up to Georgia, we were in Georgia at the time, so... And that was a little bit more than normal. So for RV supplies, which we would call that, things like toilet paper or, air freshener, paper towels, that kind of thing, we spent $20 this month. So less than last month, I think, but...
Yeah, it just depends on when you got to buy that stuff.
Our RV insurance was $67.38.
Isn't that crazy, right?
Less
RV
than our
insurance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's our home, and it's less than our car insurance payment. RV repair and maintenance costs were $28.
Which was a lot less than last month, because last month we put on the awning.
Right, yeah.
So that was more.
This month, I think we bought the cord for the blinds. We're going to repair those. And we had air filters and windshield repair kit because rock hit our car windshield, but that's part of RVing is, doing that. So it was only $11 for the little kit. But.
Yeah, and on the air filters, if you have any tips for they're all different in the different RVs, but the way that our air filter housing is, it's 4 screws and it just screws right into the ceiling. So we change that little filter once a week just because we're in it all the time. Those filters are really cheap, so we just take it out, flip it one time, and then change it out the next. But we're constantly taking those out. So if you have any ideas on how to make that a better system to change out the filters, let us know in the comments below or send us a video of something that you do or you've seen done.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Tolls for the month, we think we're about $40. Sun Pass is still messed up. They're finally posting stuff, but it was for they were still in June when I checked the website, so that still isn't caught up. So we're thinking around $40.
Yeah, and that of course is going to be different depending on where you're at. You may not even take any toll roads.
Yeah. So this month we spent $403 on gas. So that's gas for the RV and gas for our Rogue.
Which we had to drive a good bit for work. We had to leave Sarasota a couple of times to go back to where we were from for me to do some business. I think that was 3 times. 3 times there and back during the month, and that was a 2.5-hour drive. So 2.5 hours there, 2.5 hours back.
Back and forth.
3 times, 6 times, however you want to look at it.
Right. Yeah.
So that upped our fuel cost for this month.
Yeah, and we did actually go further around this past month. We started out kind of actually on the eastern side of Florida, and then we went all the way over to the coast, kind of made our way over. And, just stayed at different parks. So, yeah, it was, but still, I wasn't too bummed out about that price of gas. Propane cost for the month was $17.
Right.
So, we used the propane a bit more than we had been I learned how to use
Cake.
the oven. Yeah, I had to make a couple of birthday cakes, and so that took some more. And then I think probably we used it a bit more often for the refrigerator, like when we were moving. You know, it just worked out where we just kind of used it more.
Yeah, and so for the oven, just a quick tip. You did bake 2 cakes in there, and we had a pizza stone in there, and that really helped to disperse
Worked great.
the heat, you know.
Yeah, I was so nervous about using the RV oven. Like, I had heard horror stories about how it's so, you know, bad about, you know, burning stuff, but cake is one of those testy things, and it worked out
did
really
great.
well. So for our cell phones, we spent $311 this month. Now, part of that, about probably $60 of that, was when we bought batteries. We bought these extended batteries, like they've got twice the juice as our previous ones. Our previous ones, what was happening, they were older, I mean, they really weren't old, but they, you know, phones need like a really good battery in them. What was happening with ours was they were dying at 38% battery, or even
actually,
sometimes
unexpected.
Yeah.
Like it was, you know, 45 or 17 or 60. It's like, why is this dying?
It has to do with the processor is requiring too much juice, and then it just shuts down. So it's a common problem, like as your phone ages, for that to happen. So we had to get these batteries. I mean, we could have gotten the regular ones, but we wanted to get the extra juice, and so. They've been great, but they did, you know, it was like $30 each. So our data usage for the month was 227.64 gigabytes. So again,
Heavy users.
Yeah, we're very heavy users of the data because we're uploading videos to YouTube and just, you know, constantly working with computers, and so, you know, maintaining websites and everything. So it's quite a lot of data.
But we're on an unlimited plan, which we haven't noticed any throttled speeds or anything. Maybe. Our connection is different all the time. So if we could be in a 4G LTE 1 bar, we know it's a certain speed at one place, but it might be different somewhere else. We don't know if that's because of throttling or just because of users on the network.
But I would say there's been no noticeable difference to us. Like, you know, we hit that threshold pretty fast. Like, I think it's 22 gigabytes per device, and then they start throttling you. So, you know, which I don't know if they just, once you get to 66, or if it's each individual device, but we haven't noticed any kind of difference. So, and we don't try to limit our data usage either. We kind of just figure we're just going to do it until, you know, if we start to notice a lot of throttling, then we'll maybe change things. But we don't try to get on Wi-Fi when it's available, just because Wi-Fi tends to be slower in our experience. So we spent $14 on television. You know, that's our Amazon Prime, which, you know, we love because it's super convenient to be able to get Amazon locker deliveries, because, you know, otherwise we have to figure out how do we get stuff, you know, delivered to our door, you know, in a campground. So the Amazon locker thing has been super, super convenient.
Yeah, and we heard it's a pain to get stuff delivered to a post office, you know, I think it's called general delivery or something like that. Now, of course, the Amazon lockers only work for things that you purchase on Amazon.
Yeah.
But really,
you can
if you're
get
not
everything
purchasing on Amazon, what are you buying?
Right, yeah.
So, but that works really well, those lockers.
Yeah, it's great. We did that several times this past month. You take your phone and it's got a code, or you can just write down the code, and you know, it's usually in a Whole Foods so far in our experience, but sometimes it's at a gas station.
I think they're all over, yeah.
They're all over the place. And then you just go in, you punch in your code, the locker door opens, and your package is there. It's like an individual locker. So it's super great. I love it. Date night was $143 total for the month. We do that every week. So
it's tonight, by the way.
Oh yeah, that's right. Tonight is date night. So, but $143, not bad for, you know, 4 different date nights.
Yeah, because sometimes if you think about a date night, like you say, well, we got to go out and have a big dinner or whatever.
Pay a babysitter.
You can spend that probably in
one time easily. Yeah,
especially if you have to pay a babysitter. So the way that we do date nights is we have in our RV a separate bedroom, so it's got a door that closes. So we tell the kids, you stay up front, you watch a movie, we're going to be back here eating, watching a movie or whatever. Yeah. And that's how we do date nights in order to save money on it.
Yeah, and a lot of times we'll, if the weather permits, we'll eat out, you know, on the picnic table, and that's nice, you know, because then you're more separated, but it works either way. You know, if there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah, it may be harder if you have a younger child than we do. Our youngest is 6.
Yeah.
And he understands most of the time. Stay out. This is our time.
Right.
But if younger than that, it's going to be a little more difficult. But you can make it work.
Yeah. Family fun this month was
every day.
Yeah, we spent $60, but there was a lot of fun stuff that we did that was free too. Like mostly it was just going to get donuts that we spent the money on.
That's always fun.
But because it was just we were at the beach a lot, and the parks that we were at, there was just a ton to do. Life insurance, very important. We think everyone should have it.
Right.
So that was $38.
Kayla thinks that I should have it. Much more important than she should have it. No, we're equal.
So our food spending for the month was $444, and $239 of that was for our just straight up groceries, and the rest of it was for sleep on the couch night.
Right. So we're a family of 5. So we eat in our camper Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Friday we have date night, and Saturday we do sleep on the couch night, which is food from a restaurant that we have at the camper, or we go to one.
Personal care for this month was $51.
I care personally.
Right. I think like 36 of that was haircuts. When we had just a regular house, I would do haircuts just at home for everybody. But now that we're out and about, it's just, it's harder. I didn't even want to attempt it. I'm sure, you could do it, but I just don't want hair getting everywhere in the RV. And then, doing it outside again, don't really want to do that either. So.
Yeah, and we were in Florida for all that time, and it feels like at 5 in the morning was 90 degrees.
Yeah.
So then by the time the sun came up, if you were going to do haircuts outside, it felt like 105, and that's just no fun because you're sweaty and your hair is sticking all over and everything. Not to get too detailed and gross.
So for laundry, we spent about $30 this month. We say about 30 because we haven't been the best about keeping track of how many quarters we're using, like what we start the month off with. It's just harder for us to keep track of that kind of spending.
Yeah.
Debit card stuff, which we actually did experience, laundry machines that take debit cards this last place.
Right.
I can't remember where that was.
That was at Oscar Scherer, and they only took debit cards.
Yeah, they only took debit cards. So, but that was super convenient because we don't really particularly like having to get quarters, although a lot of times the ranger station has it, or car washes. And then health insurance, we spent $210. We do, it's technically not health insurance, it's Christian Healthcare Ministries. So
it's like medical cost sharing.
Yeah, so it's exempt from Obamacare rules. So that's what we spent. Normally it's $135 for our family, but that we do a quarterly thing called Brothers Keeper, which helps cover the cost of other members. So
right, and the only requirement is that you are the member of a church.
Right.
Then you can be a part of that community. And we found for us it was far less expensive than when we were with United something or other.
Humana and stuff like that.
That was just.
Yeah.
But yeah, so if you qualify for that, it's a good thing to go for.
And we'll put our link in the description below where you can, if you want to sign up for it, we get like a free month.
Right. And then in all clarity, we've not had to file a claim or anything like that, but all of the things that we've heard about the company that's been around for 30 plus years is that they're very good about getting things through and getting them done, unlike big insurance companies.
Yeah. So the total amount we ended up spending was $2,540.83. And again, we have other little costs, or big costs that we didn't talk about.
Right.
But, as far as RVing, full-time RVing specific, that's what our costs were.
Right. So we hope that this video of our monthly expenses helped you figure out what might be yours if you were out on the road in a similar situation. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.